Many of us exist in a perpetual state of survival, grasping for control over every aspect of life. When things will happen, how they unfold, where they take place, and who delivers them. This constant analysis and overthinking often work against our deepest desires, eroding peace with anxiety and uncertainty. What if true power lies not in tightening our grip, but in releasing it? Today, we explore the paradox that surrendering control might actually grant us more of it. How embracing life's unpredictability can transform fear into freedom and turmoil into tranquility. Consider this: we often strain against life's currents, like someone trying to hold back a river with bare hands, convinced that force equals control. Yet, what if this very struggle prevents the river from carrying us where we need to go? Imagine letting go, allowing the flow to guide us naturally, enriching our journey as it unfolds. This isn't mere poetry, it's a profound shift toward possibility. Ancient wisdom offers clarity here. Stoic philosophy teaches alignment with nature's flow. Marcus Aurelius once reflected, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." True control lies not in manipulating externals, but in mastering our responses. Similarly, Carl Jung observed, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Our need for control often stems from unexamined fears. Once brought to light, they lose their grip. Modern science echoes this. Quantum principles suggest our thoughts and emotions shape reality. When we emit signals of fear and control, we invite struggle, but when we release resistance, we align with abundance, attracting synchronicities that mirror our openness. This isn't passive wishing, it's active receptivity, a choice to engage with life harmoniously. Yet, psychological barriers, fear, anxiety, self-doubt anchor us to comfort zones. Fear, a primal instinct, often oversteps its role, magnifying risks beyond reason. Jung warned, "What you resist persists." Stoicism counters this by distinguishing between what we can and cannot change. Epictetus advised, "Make the best use of what's in your power and take the rest as it happens." Energy spent on uncontrollables is energy wasted. Anxiety distorts reality, breeding catastrophizing, expecting the worst without cause. Self-doubt, meanwhile, paralyzes potential. Seneca's wisdom applies. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, it is because we do not dare that they are difficult. Shifting perspective transforms obstacles into stepping stones. Transitioning to a state of receiving isn't passivity, it's purposeful openness. Like tending a garden, we prepare, plant, and trust the process. Seneca noted, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning." Peace and receptivity requires trust in life's cycles, quieting fear's noise to hear opportunities knock. Belief shapes reality. Jung observed, "I happen to myself." Our unconscious scripts often dictate our lives. Positive beliefs ignite action, limiting ones chain us. The placebo effect proves belief's power. If it can heal the body, why not the spirit? Identifying and rewriting these scripts is liberation. Letting go is the gateway. Stoicism teaches focusing only on what we control. Epictetus' insight, "Some things are in our power, others not," guides us to release the uncontrollable. Jung saw letting go as essential for wholeness, shedding imposed identities to discover our true selves. This demands courage to face the unknown, question old narratives, and embrace fluidity. The rewards are tangible: reduce stress, improve health, deeper relationships, forgiveness of others and ourselves. Frees us from past weights. Letting go isn't loss, it's making space for growth. Now the call to action: reflect. What beliefs or habits hold you back? Choose intentionally. Forgive, release grudges, step beyond comfort. Aurelius urged, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Transform inwardly, let old pains fade. Extend this to interactions, practice kindness, patience. Set daily rituals. Meditate, journal, commune with nature. Anchor in the present. Expect setbacks. Growth isn't linear. As Seneca reminded, difficulty stems from reluctance. Dare to change. This is your starting line. Carry these questions forward. Identify steps, then act boldly. Philosophy becomes practice through movement. The journey to your best self begins now. The path ahead is yours to shape. Every moment And say choice, to cling to what's familiar or to step courageously into the unknown. This isn't about grand gestures, but the quiet daily decisions that reshape our lives. Pausing before reacting, questioning ingrained assumptions, and choosing trust over fear. Consider the power of small, consistent actions. A single step may seem insignificant, but compounded over time, it becomes transformational. Like water carving through stone, persistence, not force, creates lasting change. The Stoics practice this through morning and evening reflections, examining their progress and missteps with clear-eyed honesty. You might ask yourself, where did I resist flow today? Where did I meet life with openness? This simple practice builds self-awareness, the foundation of growth. Relationships, too, become richer when we release expectations. People aren't projects to control, but mirrors reflecting our own growth. When conflicts arise, ask, what part of this tension lives within me? Often what irritates us in others points to unhealed parts of ourselves. By taking responsibility for our reactions, we turn friction into wisdom. Nature offers the purest lesson in surrender. A tree doesn't fight the wind, it bends and grows stronger. Seasons change without protest. Autumn releases its leaves so winter can prepare for spring. We are part of this same intelligent design. When we stop forcing outcomes, we align with rhythms far wiser than our frantic plans, yet surrender isn't resignation. It's discerning between what requires action and what requires acceptance. Some situations call for fierce commitment to boundaries, values, or justice. Others demand the humility to say, this is beyond me. Wisdom lies in knowing the difference. As you move forward, carry this question like a compass. Does this thought/action bring me closer to freedom or further into bondage? The answer will guide you. Some days, progress will feel effortless. Synchronicities will appear and doors will open. Other days, old fears will resurface. Meet them all with curiosity, not judgment. Each is part of the unfolding. Remember, you are not alone in this. Every person you admire has faced their own version of this journey. The doubts, the setbacks, the moments of revelation. What separates those who thrive isn't the absence of struggle, but their relationship to it. They've learned to dance with uncertainty rather than flee from it. Now take a deep breath. Feel the solid ground beneath you, the infinite sky above. You are exactly where you need to be. The next step isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting that each choice, each release, each courageous yes or no is weaving the life you're meant to live. The invitation stands. Will you meet it? The journey of surrender is not a destination, but a continuous unfolding, like a river that never stops moving, yet remains eternally itself. Each moment presents a fresh opportunity to practice the art of letting go, to notice where we're clinging unnecessarily, and to gently loosen our grip. Consider how the body instinctively knows this wisdom. When we sleep, we surrender completely to gravity, allowing the bed to hold us. When we breathe, we don't force each inhalation. We trust the body's natural rhythm. This innate intelligence extends beyond our physiology into every aspect of being. The more we align with it, the more life flows through us rather than against us. There's profound freedom in realizing we don't have to micromanage reality. Like a skilled sailor adjusting the sails to the wind rather than trying to control the storm, we learn to work with life's currents. This doesn't mean passivity, but rather responsive action, showing up fully while releasing attachment to specific outcomes. The ancient Taoists called this Wu Wei, effortless action that arises from deep harmony with the moment. Our modern world often glorifies struggle and force, equating suffering with virtue. But what if true strength looks different? What if real power resides in softness, in the courage to be vulnerable, in the willingness to say, I don't know? These qualities aren't weaknesses. They're portals to a more authentic way of being. As you navigate your days, notice the subtle invitations to practice surrender. The impulse to interrupt, can you listen completely instead? The urge to control a conversation, can you allow space for the unexpected? The anxiety about tomorrow, can you return to the aliveness of now? Each small release creates momentum. Like removing stones from a backpack on a long hike, we lighten our load one surrender at a time. The path doesn't necessarily get easier, but we become more capable of walking it with grace. This is the great paradox. By letting go of who we think we're supposed to be, we become who we truly are. Not through effort, but through all awaits. Not by pushing, but by receiving. The universe has been waiting for this version of you. the one brave enough to stop pretending, to stop striving, to simply be. And in that beingness, everything changes. The moment we stop trying to force life into submission is the moment true magic begins. It's like finally exhaling after holding your breath for years. Your shoulders drop, your vision clears, and suddenly you notice the world has been singing to you all along. This surrender isn't defeat, it's coming home to your natural state. Watch how children live this wisdom instinctively. They cry when hurt, laugh when joyful, then let each emotion pass like weather. They haven't yet learned to armor themselves against experience. Somewhere along the way, we adults decided vulnerability was dangerous and control was safety. But what if we've had it backward? The most alive people you've ever met, the ones who radiate that inexplicable light, aren't those who've mastered control, but those who've mastered surrender. They've made peace with life's fundamental truth. Everything changes, everything passes. In that acceptance, they find a fearless intimacy with the present moment. Try this experiment. For 1 hour today, practice being a witness rather than a director. Notice how often your mind wants to judge what's happening, change what's happening, escape what's happening. Then gently return to simply experiencing the warmth of sunlight, the sound of traffic, the rhythm of your breath. This is the practice in its simplest form, not adding anything, not taking anything away, just presence. The paradox deepens. The less we try to manufacture happiness, the more it finds us. Joy becomes less something we chase and more something we notice. Already here, already perfect, like birds' song at dawn. We were too busy to hear. Your life isn't waiting for some future moment when all the pieces fall into place. It's happening now. Vibrant, messy, exquisite in its imperfection. The invitation isn't to perfect it, but to meet it. Fully, fearlessly, with open hands. What might bloom in the space you create when you stop filling every silence with worry? What new colors might appear when you stop insisting the sky should be a different shade of blue? The adventure begins where control ends. Take a breath, let go, and watch how the world rushes in to meet you. The art of surrender is ultimately the art of coming alive. It's the quiet revolution of releasing our mental grip and discovering that beneath all our striving, there exists a vast, untapped wellspring of peace. This isn't passive resignation, it's active participation in life's dance without trying to lead every step. Consider how nature embodies this wisdom effortlessly. Trees don't question if they're worthy of sunlight, they simply reach. Rivers don't argue with their course, they flow around obstacles. Seasons don't resist change, they transform with quiet dignity. We contain this same natural intelligence within us, often buried beneath layers of conditioning. Each time we pause our mental commentary and drop into pure sensation, the warmth of a mug in our hands, the weight of our body on a chair, we reclaim our birthright to simply be. The modern world has conditioned us to believe we're separate from the flow of life. But in moments of true presence, this illusion dissolves. You might notice it when laughter erupts unexpectedly during a sunset that steals your thoughts. In the silent space between breaths, these are portals back to our essential nature. Reminders that we're not separate observers of life, but life itself expressing in human form. The more we surrender to this truth, the more our experience transforms. Challenges don't disappear, but our relationship to them shifts. What once felt like obstacles become interesting textures in life's rich tapestry. The path of surrender asks only this, that we show up as we are, without pretense or armor, that we meet each moment with beginner's mind, fresh, curious, willing to be surprised. In this space, we discover that what we've been searching for was never lost, just overlooked in our rush to control the uncontrollable. So today, practice the radical act of trust. Trust that your breath knows how to breathe you, your heart knows how to beat, life knows how to life. And in that trust, find the extraordinary hidden within the ordinary, the sacred shimmering just beneath the surface of things. This is where magic lives. Not in some distant enlightenment, but right here in the willingness to let go. And let be the miracle of surrender reveals itself in the most ordinary moments. When you stop trying to be somewhere else and discover the profound perfection of where you are. It's in the unforced rhythm of your heartbeat, the effortless expansion of your lungs, the way sunlight dapples through leaves without anyone directing the show. This is the secret woven into the fabric of existence. Life lives itself through us when we get out of the way. We've been taught that meaning comes from accumulation, more knowledge, more achievements, more control. But what if we've had it backwards? The Japanese concept of ma celebrates the beauty of negative space, the pause between notes that makes music, the silence between words that creates meaning. In our own lives, the magic often happens in these in-between spaces we try so hard to fill. Try this today. Between activities, allow for 3 conscious breaths. Not to change anything, but to notice. The tingling in your fingertips, the play of shadows on the wall, the hum of existence beneath thoughts. This simple practice begins to rewire our relationship with experience. We start to perceive the aliveness that was always present, but obscured by our mental commentary. The poet Rilke captured this when he wrote, "No feeling is final. Joy and sorrow, excitement and boredom, they all rise and pass like waves if we don't cling to them." The paradox deepens. The more we embrace impermanence, the more we touch the eternal. Like a chill, D who builds sandcastles, knowing the tide will claim them. We learn to participate fully while holding lightly. Projects, relationships, even identities come and go, but the awareness that witnesses it all remains untouched. This isn't spiritual bypassing. Surrender includes the full spectrum, the grief as much as the joy, the uncertainty as much as the clarity. The difference is we stop resisting the natural oscillations. A storm isn't a problem for the ocean. It's just another expression of its depth. As you move through your day, notice where you might replace but with and. I'm tired and I'm showing up. And I'm uncertain and I'm curious. This is difficult and I'm capable. In this small linguistic shift, we make room for life's beautiful contradictions. We discover that wholeness isn't found by eliminating parts of our experience, but by embracing all of it with compassionate awareness. The invitation is always here, to put down the heavy luggage of control and meet this moment as it is. Not later, when conditions improve, not when you become some idealized version of yourself. Now, as you are, where you are, the gate to freedom swings open. In this instant, will you walk through? The moment of true surrender arrives like a silent dawn, not with fanfare or struggle, but with a quiet recognition that you've been holding your breath for years. There's a sacred softening when we stop treating life as an opponent to conquer and instead embrace it as a dignity partner. This isn't about giving up, but giving over to something wiser than our fears, more vast than our plans. Consider how every spiritual tradition points to this same truth through different metaphors. The Christian mystics speak of thy will be done. The Zen masters point to beginner's mind. The Sufi poets whisper of melting into the beloved. These are all fingers pointing to the same moon. The liberating truth that peace comes not from rearranging the world to our liking, but from releasing our death grip on how things should be. A powerful practice emerges when we start noticing our subtle resistances, the way we tense when someone disagrees with us, the mental arguments we rehearse while showering, the slight clenching when plans go awry. Each noticing is an invitation not to fix or change, but to gently exhale the resistance. Like snow melting in spring, this letting go happens naturally when we stop feeding the freeze with our judgment. The most surprising discovery awaits those who persist. In the space where surrender meets awareness, we find an unexpected kind of power. Not power over people or circumstances, but power within ourselves. The unshakable steadiness that comes from knowing we can handle whatever arises. This is the mature spirituality that moves beyond spiritual bypassing into full-blooded engagement with life. As you go about your day, play with this question. What if this moment, exactly as it is, contains exactly what I need, not as spiritual platitude, but as genuine inquiry? You might discover that frustration becomes patience in disguise, boredom opens the door to creativity, uncertainty makes space for wonder. The journey of surrender ultimately leads us back to ourselves, not the small self of our stories and identities, but the vast awareness that was here before our first thought and will remain after our last. This is the home we've been searching for all along, disguised as ordinary life. The gate is open. The path is clear. All that's required is the courage to take one unguarded step. and then another into the luminous mystery of what is. And so we arrive where we began, not as the same person, but as the same awareness that was always here, beneath the chatter and striving. The great irony reveals itself. In letting go of who we thought we were, we discover what we've always been. Not separate drops fighting the current, but the river itself, flowing, adapting, endlessly becoming. The invitation wasn't to reach some distant peak, but to wake up to the ground beneath your feet. To notice how the morning light paints your walls differently each day, to feel the ordinary miracle of breath moving through you without your doing. This is where the real adventure begins, not in some future moment of enlightenment, but right here in the sacred ordinary. With hands open, heart available, meeting each moment as it is, and in that meeting, finding yourself more alive than you ever imagined possible. The journey continues, but now you walk differently, lighter, curious, no longer dragging the heavy suitcase of resistance. And though challenges will still come, they arrive as waves to surf rather than walls to scale. So take this knowing with you. You are already home. The peace you seek breathes in the spaces between thoughts. The love you long for beats quietly in your own chest. The freedom you imagined was here all along in the simple, courageous act of letting go and discovering that what remains is everything.